these figures are extraordinarily high for a government promise to get migration down. Do you think, from an economic point of view, it is right to try and get these numbers down?
I think from an economic point of view, anyone would look at the numbers and say, I don't think those figures are sustainable because our public services can't cope with the numbers that we have at the moment. And that's quite clear, the pressures on housing, schools, hospitals, etc. And as you say, and I think you make a good point in terms of, in some sectors, the use of cheap foreign labour is driving wages down. That's not particularly desirable either. But I don't think we should focus on the overall number, the net figure, and I think your party is responsible for that. You were, a member of the... You're still a member of the Conservatives.
I back the manifesto, yes. So I'm not trying to shy away. I'm not trying to disclaim...
But I do think you need to take some responsibility because the target, net migration target, was in the 2010 manifesto, 2015 manifesto, 2017 manifesto. There was a sort of vaguer target in the 2019 manifesto. Suella Braverman still says she wants net migration to come to the tens of thousands. And I think the focus on that figure has driven policy in a way, and attention on that figure has driven policy in a way which has not been helpful. Because, as you rightly point out, if you have an influx of people coming in for humanitarian reasons from Ukraine, from Afghanistan and so on, which people accept is a good thing and a desirable thing, the right thing to do, obviously you may get net migration going up. But if you focus on that net figure, your policies become distorted because of that, and the focus becomes distorted.
I completely agree with you, and I've always thought the electorate is pretty grown up and that it understands that events may make an election promise impossible. But the bits that are under our control seem to have spiralled so much. If you take the dependent route, I think that's gone from, for study, from 7,000 to 85,000 in about 3 years. That just seems to me a complete loss of control and is something that ought to be brought back under control.
Well, I think Rishi Sunak has announced some measures this week to prevent dependence from most students coming in, apart from people doing research work at a postgraduate level. That clearly may make some impact. I don't know it'll have as big as an impact as people are expecting, but it will have an effect. But again, you were obviously part of the government that introduced that under Boris Johnson. That was introduced, I think, in around 2019. But there are some measures that can be taken. But I think the key thing is work. It cannot be right, and I think you pointed to this, that we're a wealthy country, a prosperous country. We've got an amazing education sector, yet we can't recruit vets from this country or architects or archaeologists. I mean, that is madness.
It's ridiculous.
Seriously wrong with the skills and training.
I completely agree with you.